What's up, gamers? We are back with some more modern action, and this time we've got blue-white control, Azorius Control, Azorius Planeswalker Control, Azorius Energy, however you would like to think about it, versus Abzan Yawgmoth. So we've talked about these two decks before. Well, we've talked about Control before, we've talked about Yawgmoth before, but we've got some experimentations taking place with our Abzan player, or our Yawgmoth player. She's been kind of, we talk about her as the resident Yawgmoth player at the shop, and she will fluctuate and change the way that she kind of pilots her list, does these flex spots, tests out things. So this time around, we're starting to see these, Abzan style, and not just the Golgari, which is the traditional Yawgmoth style. Where on the other side, we do get to see kind of the blue-white control. It is a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more efficient than some of the Jeskai control lists that you guys have been seeing on the camera that I've been piloting. I basically have my control list split into two different decks, where I've got my Jeskai control and I've got my blue-white miracle list. And this blue-white control here is kind of a combination of both, or basically taking the best blue and white cards that exist in Modern. We are attempting to play a Soul Cauldron, and that's going to be met with a Force of Negation right away. So that is extremely important to be able to put a stop to. Once that resolves, things can get out of hand. Now, there are, of course, cards like, you see the energy counter over there on the top side of the screen. There are cards that will help us, like Wrath of Skies will eventually be able to answer that. But if it gets out early enough, Agatha's Soul Cauldron can really kind of run away with things, and makes those counter spells that we're trying to do less and less effective. Because if we're sitting here going, all right, I'll counter the Yawgmoth, then we just turn our other creatures into Yawgmoth. Oh, I counter a, Grist, then my creatures turn into Grist. So like Soul Cauldron is a extremely powerful card in the list. But we've got Young Wolf coming out. That is part of the combo that exists within the Yawgmoth list. If you've got two Undying creatures there with the Yawgmoth and a Drain effect, you get to kill your opponent. It's just that simple. So that is one of the things to kind of look out for once players are starting to put up Young Wolves. It's also that kind of debate about how many, Undying creatures are being run. Oftentimes players have the full play set of Young Wolves, and then it's the debate on where you go from there. Are you running the Strangleroot Geist or not? There is a zombie that also has Undying that's a 2-drop. I can't remember the name of it. Sometimes players will play Jarl's Messenger as well, but there's Yawgmoth attempt. Then we're going to tune the narrative here in response. So that's going to be, again, our energy generation. We're going to start kind of getting that energy count built up, because we need to be able to try to deal with Yawgmoth. And one of the ways to do that is a Wrath of Skies. All right, what do we got here? 4 mana. Yeah, there's the Wrath. So X equals 2. We already generated 2 mana off the Tune the Narrative last time, so that'll be enough to wipe the field. Now, the question is whether or not we sacrifice Young Wolf. Looks like we're not going to sacrifice it, so the Undying trigger will be able to take place, and Young Wolf will come back. So we had the option to be able to sacrifice it and draw a card, but that, we have another Yawgmoth in hand, which we're going to play right away. So we're showing the resilience of the deck against the kind of Wrath types effects. All right, fetching it up. All these different basic island choices. So right now we have not seen what the indication for running white is. Oh, that was a really good one. March there. Let's get rid of Yawgmoth. Exiling it there. It looks like we're debating. Do we sacrifice Young Wolf? No, we don't. That was the debate. we had to make that choice. Like that again, it does come down to that. Okay, is the 2 damage more relevant, or is what we're trying to do next? So here's our first indication of why we're testing out white in the list. Ajani, the Coddle Pariah, is being added to the mix. So you go, oh, are you just running like the cat package as well? Like Ocelot Prize, Ajani's? Is that the reason that we've added in white for this list? I mean, you get very swarmy, so it looks like you're kind of heavier on the token generation here. Now, Jace's going to come out. We're going to immediately do some brainstorming. Now, very rarely do you go for the +2, and looks like we're going to chord in response here. That's a nice way to do it. Let's go and find a Bowmasters, which we will start to shoot down Jace. So yes, you may brainstorm, but not before losing it. So yeah, token generation seems to be kind of where we're leaning. Bowmasters, a Johnny, and we're kind of like, all right, let's go wide. How much damage can we get done here? There's 2 mana available. Potential for our Orc army to die, but we're setting ourselves up very nicely. Send the team. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. All right. How well can we come back? I mean, if we have a Wrath of Skies, again, that helps clean up the whole board. Yeah, there's the Wrath. All right, how do we respond to that? There's another white card in hand. What the heck is that? All right, everything dies. No undying triggers. We just need a Bowmaster here. If we top deck another Bowmaster... All right, so we get a look. We get a see. All right, we get our Triome. All right. A Yawgmoth is nice. We don't have any follow-up with it, though. No extra creatures. So basically, we're just trying to kind of jam something out and be ready to go. You might be like, oh, why didn't you wait? Well, playing against a control deck, you don't want to wait too long to be stuck fighting against like counter spells and stuff like that. Teferi is pretty nice of us kind of being able to bounce. We get to draw cards, we get more resources off it, and now it's kind of in this like resource trade mode where we're both sort of in this like top deck or close to top deck mode. All right, so we need an answer for Teferi because we can't flash in a Bowmaster or anything while Teferi's out. We've got to... I mean, basically, that's our goal, is to try to get a Bowmaster, though. We can cast on our turn and try to... And like, now would be the perfect time where our opponent doesn't have access to counter magic. Oh. Mondrak. So that might have been that white card we saw. So... if a token would be created under your control, twice that many tokens are created instead. So that's a cool, like we're going token style here, with the reason for going for the Abzan style instead of just Golgari. But Solitude's going to come out. We're going to hardcast that, and that will put a stop to that. You know, hey, you've put me to 1, and I'm going to Orange Chant you as well to make sure you cannot stop me from gaining some life. I'm getting out of this little hole here and climbing my way back. And, you know, that we talk about this sort of style often in Modern is as the game progresses, certain decks become better the longer the game goes on. Tron or the Eldrazi list are a perfect example of it because they have just like bigger, scarier threats. Right now, we're seeing just sort of the efficiency that, you know, Azorius Control is able to answer so many threats that it's becoming a little bit easier. All right, Grist coming out. And, oh, Skyclave Apparition. All right, so we've got a exile effect. Now, is there a window... Like, I know there were certain exile effects back in the day, like Containment Priests and... Not Containment Priests. Is that the wrong one I'm thinking of? I don't know. There were certain ones that's like you could sacrifice with the ETBs on the stack and, like, permanently get rid of stuff or, you know, like, get rid of... But I don't know if that's still a thing. Like, are there certain cards that let you do that? Like, in this case, we don't have an instant speed sacrifice outlet. Like, Grist will help us, you know, kill stuff if we wanted to, but... Let me know. Leave some comments. Let me know what if you guys are old players like me and remember days where that was a thing, or there are certain cards, which cards I'm talking about, that were the creatures that you could exile something, or maybe it was strip cards from their hands. I'm mixing up. All my wires are crossed today. All right, swinging Bose. We're going at it. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so of course this is an elemental. We got a 3/2 and we've got a 4/3. The plan is to kill Grist here, it looks like. So the debate is, I mean, we should block, but it's like the question is whether we trade off, and we do. We go for the trade off here to kind of weaken and hurt the Solitude a little bit. Oh, big Teferi. Let's tuck that third from the top. So that's at least we've kind of got 3 turns before we have to worry about another Grist. Oh, nice. Ranger Captain of Eos is another addition for the Abzan style here. I mean, things are getting out of hand, so it's like, what can we do? Grist is in 3 turns. That doesn't really help us here, so we got to start getting some more creatures out. 1-drop Oscillate Pride, Guide of Souls. So, yeah, it definitely is this kind of token generation package available to us here while we went for the Abzan style. And Young Wolf is going to be our choice. I like that. You know, being able to have the Undying is really nice and really helpful. +1, draw a card. We get to untap 2 lands on our end step. Oh, Narset's nice. Let's get some more resources here. Yeah, so like we talked about, this blue-white energy control is really the planeswalker control, if you will. Right? It's running 4 different planeswalkers in the list. Little T, Big T, Narset, and Jace. And we still have Solitude. So this is that illusion, that 3/3 illusion there. So we'll trade off Ranger Captain. I mean, the sacrifice effect could be relevant, but for the most part, we needed it to kind of get the lifelink off the table. Oh, more Tune the Narrative. The energy count's going to get even higher here. Teferi triggers. Go to the end step. Untap step part 2. Oh, can we stick a Yawg? Yes, we can. All right. Activate Gaia Reach. So that's that land there. Sometimes I'll put the lands up for you guys to see, but the Gaia Reach is that. Oh, what's the Gaia? Let me pull it up here because I can never remember. I know it's a discard effect. Gaia Reach. Gaia Reach. Let's see. Gaia Reach. Add 1 colorless mana to your mana pool. Pay 2. Each player draws a card, then discards a card. But with Narset out, it basically reads as opponent discards a card for 2 mana. So very, 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 very powerful effect combined with this. But Wrath of Sky is going to come out, and let's kind of clean things up. So this is the tough thing about fighting against the control list, right? Where it's like, it is a glacial style deck of the slow incremental advantages here before we eventually set a way up to kind of stop you. Look at this sweet Gear Hulk. So Gear Hulk will be coming out here. Double green, double white. It's the Bright Glass one. First strike, trample, and then it's another tutor effect for 1 cost. So get an artifact, creature, or enchantment, up to 2 different effects. So you may be able to get up to 2 artifact, creature, or enchantments with mana value 1. So we'll get double Oscillate Pride here. Reveal those, put it into our hand. I mean, you could have gone like a Guide of Souls Oscillate, I think. Also would have been good. Just to help get that life link. Or, you know, trigger the cat. But what we were talking about with the Azorius Control, this glacial style of, like, we're going to slowly gain these incremental advantages. We're not going to kill you quickly, but we are going to kill you eventually. And usually it's going to be through these value engines that we've kind of assembled here. You know, one of which is this, you know, Jace Ultimate is one of the ways to do it. I've won some games where you're just like, you are locked out at this point, and I'm going to continue to draw cards, and you have no way to stop or interact with that. And so let's just kind of do it to it. All right, what do we got? What do we got? All right, attempt to cast a Bright Glass again. That will be hit with a counter spell. Oh, Marionette Apprentice. Do we get this? Get our Servo and Solitude. Let's just get rid of that. We don't want that because Marionette Apprentice is our drain effect that exists within the list. It also makes tokens, so it's like perfect for this sort of Abzan token list. All right, Solitude's out. 3 Planeswalkers here. Continuing to plus up and kind of set ourselves up here. But, like, again, you don't want to concede because you're like, all right, they haven't presented ways to kill me yet. Solitude's here now, though, so this does make it a little bit, you know, more difficult. All right, Fountain Port's going to come. We're going to create a fish. There's our fish. Yeah, Fountain Port's a really good card. I like that. Hey, a Gris, and we still have that Servo. Nope. Sink into Stupor. Please put it back in your hand. And we'll tap out so we can play it again. All right. Solitude is pretty scary. I mean, Teferi's pretty scary. Like the big T. All right. They're trading the fish. So let's make another token. So yeah, we don't have to sacrifice Gris yet. We get to at least kill the fish off. And now we've got an insect to protect against Solitude. But that's, look, so much mana here. +1 to Fairy. Give us more resources. Our Abzan player is Hellbent. No cards in hand, it looks like. I mean, we really could, like, we are definitely swinging in with Solitude here. Oh, and there's the March on the token. Nice. Drops Gris to 1 loyalty here. All right, untap our 1 single land. All right, let's do it to it. Go to game 2. That was, I mean, we got the control player to 1 life there. So it was very, very close. We were like, just needed like 1 extra point of damage. I mean, you look at it and go, oh, what, the Bowmaster could have done 1 extra to the face or something like that. But yeah, but the math, like, that's the whole hindsight and stuff like that. We needed to get the Jace off the table, so we expected to be able to find another answer there. We have a Bowmaster in hand, but 1 lander is not going to be worth keeping there. So a handful of 2-drops is not where we want to be at. So we will be mulliganing here, dropping down to 6 cards. But so thanks for everybody that's still tuning in and watching at this point in time. We've got a lot of great games scheduled for you coming up. Of course, we've got all of our Monday and Thursday live coverage that we're doing here, or at least the paper coverage of you. We've got some Amulet Titan versus Dimir Reanimator coming up, an 8 cast versus Boros Energy. We've got a Grixis Food versus Oculus Death Shadow. We've got Is It Twin versus Tron. So we've got a lot of cool games in the queue for you, as well as some MTGO stuff. We've, of course, had our Sultai living in. We've got a Infect League coming out here with Tifa, as we do our best to kind of learn and stop making mistakes on MTGO, which has not happened yet and won't happen for a while. So if you like watching some mistakes get made on MTGO, check out our Saturday content. But we've also got some travel vlog stuff coming up. I'll show you guys MagicCon content. But let's get back into this one, because we've got a Johnny hitting the table here. Good way to start things out. Making some tokens. Now we'll see what our control player, how they are going to be responding, knowing now that they are fighting against essentially a token generation deck that has Yawgmoth in it. Like, I listed it as Abzan Yawgmoth, but maybe we should have listed it as just Abzan tokens. I don't know. Yawgmoth tokens. Maybe that's the name of it. Somebody's telling me what we should name this deck. Leave a comment. Leave a comment. Let me know. What do you think would be a better name for this deck than just Abzan Yawgmoth? Because I feel like that doesn't really capture the list really the way that it should be captured. All right, Counterspell magic available. Cauldron, yep, there's the Counterspell we knew was there. Is that Wither creature? Tune the narrative. Let's draw a card. Get some energy. Yeah, I think that's the other thing. Is like, you, as a token-based deck, a creature-based deck, you want to be able to put pressure on your opponents, but you don't want to overly commit to a board and get blown out by a, Wrath of Skies or stuff like that. It says Birds of Paradise. I mean, Birds is sweet. I think, I don't know. I wish more players would play the nobles and ignobles and things like that. They don't seem to see any play anymore, sadly. But they're very fragile and weak. Same thing with birds, though. Like, at least if we were able to somehow put counters or do something with birds, having that flying mechanic does make it a little bit easier potentially. But all right, Narset's going to come out. Put a stop to any additional draws here. We're going to get a second Narset from that. All right, so Narset also coming out, it gives us that information of, hey, you get to basically protect yourself from an attack here, right? Oh, no, we're going to ignore Narset and just go for face, giving our opponent a second basically look at the top four to get more resources. Ooh, Grist. No land drop here, though, which is really hurting us. So the debate on whether or not we kill Narset here or just keep committing to the board. I don't mind the make a token here, actually. Yeah, make an insect, say go. We're kind of taking advantage of what we've got on board here to try to set up for a Court of Calling next turn. Now, this video was recorded before Final Fantasy set came out, because I know that our Yawgmoth player has added Sephiroth into the list, which is a really cool addition. There's a lot of really cool cards in the Final Fantasy set there, so. All right. Before declare blocks, let's do some solituding. kill a Johnny here. Or are we exiling a Johnny? Exile a Johnny. Eat the insect. Take 2. Gain 3. Essentially gain 1 life. Alright. Hey, we got another one. Oh no, it's a swamp. We've got 2 swamps and another source we need. Oh, that's the tough stuff. Okay. Keep making insects. Alright. We need more green to cast Court of Calling here. I wonder if you're going to run like a token deck like this, if Birthing Ritual is the way to go. Like you can start turning those tokens into the 1-drops like Oscillate Prides or things like that. I don't know. I guess you'd have to really look at see how many 1-drops you're running. I mean, you've got Young Wolf, you've got Oscillate Prides in here, Guide of Souls. So maybe that is the route to go, is a Birthing Ritual list. Because then your 2-drops are a Johnny's, Bowmasters. There might be something here. There might be something here. Okay, I was like, we got a Teferi coming? No, Narset Numero Dos coming out here. Let's get some more resources. So we can chord for 2. Oh, we find an Orange Chant. That's pretty good. I have effects on the end step. I would like to attempt to chord. Chord is good, because we are keeping our double white to Orange Chant our opponent. Alright, chording for 2. Oh, I kept trying to remember. I was like, what the heck is that thing? It's a different art for... Was it Fiend Artisan or something? Yeah, Fiend Artisan is what comes out. So Fiend Artisan is sweet here. So yeah, Fiend Artisan kind of doing the same thing of the Birthing Ritual, but just you have to sack another creature, search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less, because you have to pay mana into the Fiend Artisan. But I do think here's another good 2-drop. So again, if we're going from a token into a sweet 1-drop into a 2, like we have a lot of options available to us. I guess the only thing is, no, we already saw 3 drops, right? We saw the Ranger Captain, right? Our 4-drops are the Gear Hulk. Our 4-drops are Yawgmoth. Like, I do feel like that could be a way to go. The Mondrak, the double the token generation. Yeah, I think that might be better of a play. I don't know if you maybe replace Chord of Calling with it, but rest in peace. That's a great card. I mean, it shuts off the Yawgmoth and shuts off the Undying. It doesn't shut off Yawgmoth. It shuts off the Undying and killing from Undying, but it also messes up because Fiend Artisans gets +1/+1 for each creature card in the graveyard. If there are no graveyards, then he's a 1/1. All right, let's get some more resources again. Oh, Celestial Purge is sweet. And it's the textless one. I've got a couple of cards like that for a video that we're doing at MagicCon, so stay tuned to see how well some other content creators and other players remember cards without seeing the text. Some of them are pretty obvious and easy, right? Like if I say, especially for us modern players, like, okay, what's Celestial Purge do? If you're a blue-white control player or a control player, you'll know Celestial Purge. Like some are like easy. All right, Wrath of God, you know. Some of them might be a little bit more challenging. Cryptic Command, I know, things like that. Vengevine. But I also have things like Doomblade, Pyroclasm, so a mix of easy and challenging ones. All right, Gear Hulk. We've got Ranger Captain. We've got a lot of goodies available to us here. Really, the biggest hurdle this game has been our mana. Hey, another Grist coming out. Sack this insect, kill Solitude. That works really well. Three at Narset and 3 at face here. Ooh, Giver Runes coming out. Now, here's the challenge. That's a lot of committed to the board. But Giver Runes works out phenomenally if it's going to be single target stuff. If it's going to be the March, if it's going to be the Solitude, if it's going to be those types of effects, Giver Runes works out amazingly. All right, big Teferi coming out here. Are we minusing here? Probably not. We're probably just going to uptick. Hey, there it is. Wrath. Let's blow up the entire board. At least Rest in Peace is gone. Because it destroys all artifacts, enchantments, creatures, destroys all the stuff except for Planeswalkers. Alright. Grist, puts a Yawgmoth in the bin. In the graveyard, not in exile. That one does stick around, so there is that. We've got 2 Ocelot Prides. I don't dislike the idea of jamming one out here. It's that Wither creature. What is that? What creature is that? That is Necroskitter. 1/4 with Wither. Whenever a creature an opponent controls with a -1 counter on it is put into the graveyard, you may return that card to play under your control. Interesting. That works really well with Yawgmoth because if you are minusing, like putting -1 counters on your opponent's creatures and they die, you're like, yep, those are mine now. Ashiok, that's really bad. All right, mill 4 and then exile your entire graveyard. So, oh no, I think that was the 4th Yawgmoth. So no more Yawgmoth lines available this time. Oh, okay, Bowmaster. Lots of mana available. Send the team. Double white and March Ocelot here. Oh my gosh, another March. Oof. Yeah, March is a really good card. Like, being able to just kind of exile something for mana is nice. I need to pick up some more copies of it. All right, let's do the thing again. Ocelot Pride, Insect. See how this works. Can we get this to stick? All right. Gyro Reach, both draw, discard a card. +1 and response. We're going to attempt 2 Bowmasters. What would you like to target? Flashing in Solitude. Still in response. So yes, we'll take a damage off Teferi there. Draw's still good. Solitude's going to help out. Yeah, this is a lot of what you want to have happen as a blue-white player, where you're like, I'm getting through so much of my deck. I'm seeing so many different options to kind of help answer and respond and, you know, hold back the potential tide that is the onslaught of Abzan good stuff coming across the table at me. Oh, we got a Guide of Souls here. But again, where's our lands? We can't even search either, though. So, like, even if we found a fetch land, Ashiok prevents searching. Yeah, Lisa says, why do I have all of these black sources? This is ridiculous. I mean, you have to have like certain number of basics in Modern right now because of the harbingers, and especially because of our shop. We tend to have, you know, these fluctuations of numbers, and like, all right, a bunch of people brought Demir Murktide or Demir Oculus. Demir Oculus, and so we get to see these fluctuations of a lot more harbingers come and go at the shop. So it's like you don't want to be caught out one week where you're like, well, I have 0 basics, so I guess I'm locked out of the game. All right, we've got an insect army. We've got a Chord of Calling available to us, but we can't search. We can't even do the chord. So, oh my gosh. Another Solitude. Hey, let's get rid of your Oscillate Pride. No tokens for you. But again, this is where we talked about utilizing the now I'm forgetting what the name of the birthing ritual. There we go. It's like I wanted to say birthing pod, and it's like that's not legal. It's not legal in Modern. Which I wonder if it would be fine. Right? We're starting to see some other cards be fine. Like maybe. I don't know. It's been so long. Twin got released. That was fine. It died very quickly. Didn't become a meta deck. A lot of people tried and experimented and just it could not. It's too fragile. All right. Oh, the Mother Machines gets gone too. All right. Things are looking like we're in this kind of wrap-up mode. Yeah, I'm going to do a Lorien Revealed hard cast. That is a very, very bad spot to be in at. If you're like, well, my opponent is hard casting Lorien Revealed, and they still have plenty of mana to utilize, and because they have the big Teferi, they basically are casting this for 3 mana. Oh my gosh. Kill the Ashiok just so we can be able to fetch. Get us access to another card. Alright, what do we got? This also gives us information about what's left in our deck and potential outs that we have. Alright, there's a Mondrak in here. That could be our route that we go for. But there's not a lot of other token generation. There's Guide of Souls here. Counterspell that. Hey, here's a second guide. Do you got another counterspell? Uptick. Yeah, I guess that's our play, right? Is you just sort of swarm with insects and with the Mondrak and, you know, chump block the... I don't know. That's not a winning line. Like... Oh no, Teferi's getting into danger zone. Do we have another creature to block with? Alright, let's force the blocks here. Swinging at Grist. Let's block both, or do we trade one? I mean, we got to keep the Grist alive here, because that's our token generation right now. And basically looking through the list going, all right, we don't really have many lines to get out of this hole. All right. What do we got? Show me what you got. What? Farewell? Okay. I did not anticipate that. 6 mana. Get rid of all the things. Farewell, like, surprisingly decent card to add into your list if you're fighting against, like, Eldrazi's or stuff like that. These things that are bigger that you're like, I need ways to answer these things that normally I cannot. And exiling all the stuff is pretty good. Getting up to 6 mana, like, it's not that hard when you're playing a kind of land go control deck where we're just going to get resources back. I guess the debate about the Gear Hulk there. Like, it's dangerous to kind of jam it in to all that open mana, but this also lets us potentially cord here. Oh, hey, guess what? We have an emblem that says whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent an opponent controls. Here's big T. Here's little T. Let's draw a card, exile Grist. Oh, no. Like I said, this is like the glacial win styles of we're going to slowly get this incremental advantages till we get to this. Hey, I'd like to cord. Nope, you may not. Also, I'm going to continue to draw cards. Let's exile this. And then, yeah, he's like, how did I only get 4 lands that whole game? Like, that was a rough game, too, there. I mean, you know, all things considered, we got to see, like, this huge flood of creatures at one point. Like, there was, like, you know, 6, 7 creatures on the board. Giver of Runes came out, and it was like, all right, I'm ready to deal with all of the marches, all the solitudes. But then the Wrath of Skies just hard reset everything. Had to fight through all of the sideboard hate, the Farewells, the Ashiok's shutting things down, the Rest in Peace shutting things down. So, yeah, we got to see a little bit of players' sideboards here of what they were bringing in here for this matchup there. But, yeah, this is a tough one. But I really wanted to show this one because it was the kind of first really approach of the Abzan Yawgmoth stuff that we're starting to see at the shop here. So, hope you guys enjoyed this one. Again, we've got a lot more epic modern action coming out every Monday and Thursday for you, as well as MTGO content on Saturdays. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching, everyone. And I'll see you all next game.